Blues originated in ex-slave era African American communities in America's Deep South states, particularly Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana, fusing influences from their West African roots combined with traditional American folk songs. It evolved through the late 1800s in rural ex-slave communities. The exact origins of the blues are sadly poorly documented due to the racial discrimination and the low rate of literacy among rural African Americans at the time. This has led to a number of stories of legend to fill in the gaps, such as that of Robert Johnson, considered to be the first rock star, who is said to have made a deal with the devil at the crossroads in Mississippi, in which he gained a talent on the guitar in exchange for his soul. The truth is that the blues was more of an evolution that reflected a difficult and turbulent time for African Americans, featuring lyrics that detailed the struggles and persecutions that they went through, hence they were mostly melancholy in nature. Despite being poorly documented, there are some key players and some defining moments in blues history. One such person is W.C. Handy, who was the self-proclaimed father of the blues. The reality of this claim is that whilst he wasn't the first to play the blues, not by a long shot, he was the first to publish blues music, taking it from being a regional folk musical style to a national popularised music. Publishing these works helped to cement the harmonic framework that defines blues as a genre, which was previously almost entirely improvised. So what makes it blues? The instrumentation of blues is broad, but originally borrowed instrumentation from rural American folk music at the time, such as the piano, fiddle, harmonica, double bass, and acoustic guitar. Early blues was also made up of rudimentary homemade instruments such as cigar box guitars and the single-stringed diddley bow. Modern blues often consists of drums, electric guitar, bass, vocals, and quite often piano. The tempo of blues can vary drastically, usually somewhere within the 50 to 130 BPM range. The rhythm is a much more defining factor, with blues having a swung triplet feel known as the blues shuffle. So rather than a straight rhythm such as this, we have this. Blues has its own take on the traditional major-minor scales, which is slightly more ambiguous and gritty sounding in nature, known as the major blues and minor blues scales. The major blues scales consist of a first, a second, a flattened third, a fifth, and a sixth. So in the key of G, it sounds like this. The minor blues scale consists of a first, no second, a flattened third, a fourth, a flattened fifth, a fifth, and finally a flattened seventh. And in the key of G, the minor blues scale sounds like this. The 12-bar blues is an extremely well-used chord progression in blues music, and it goes like this. So let's take what we know and make some blues. We'll keep the 12-bar blues piano that we just made, and we'll add some drums. We'll make sure that we adjust the swing in order to get that blues shuffle. 66% seems to do it nicely. Next we can throw in a bass part, which is just super simple, just playing tightly to the swung rhythm with the root notes of the chords. We'll throw in another simple but rhythmic part on the organ just to thicken everything up a little bit. And lastly, we'll throw in an improvised guitar line that just plays around within the blues scale.